For my underdogs, the ones willing to pay the cost. Even when we're up, we gotta take a loss. Underdogs are always against the odds. I'ma use this opportunity to do it for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. Yeah, my underdogs.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Rec Center Podcast. I'm Kenny Edwards, joined my co-host, Lorenzo Parham. What's good, man?
Hey, Ken, man, I'm excited, Ken. We had our first episode of season 3 with Alonzo Carter, Coach Carter, and it went crazy, man. You know how many people comment on the Coach Carter? One of the things they doing, Ken, they wanted to bring everybody from the 70s on and stuff. And I can't bring everybody from the 70s now. Zoe was different, Ken, you know. Right. But great follow-up to that Coach Carter episode because we get to bring in a guy who I don't fully know his story, so I'm all dialed in to learn everything about his situation because we know where he ended up at. Yeah. We know what high school he went to, but we got to peel back the layers here at the Rec Center Podcast, man, and dive full in depth, man, with my guy Kirk Morrison, man. What is it? San Diego State Hall of Famer?
Yeah, all of that.
All of that. Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Let's see, I was there.
NFL.
You talking about you don't know the story. I seen a lot. I was there.
We seen it. But Ken, I also want to dive into the fact that, man, they had one of the best runs that Odell when Kirk was there, man. So we got to talk about that. We had, Kirk, we had Gino on. Gino did tell us about the Odell game. So we're going to have to talk about the Fremont and the Odell game back then, man.
Sure.
So Kirk Morrison, welcome to the Rec Center Podcast, man.
Man, y'all have no idea, man. First of all, excited to be on with y'all. When I first saw like the season 1, I said, wow, they bringing it back, man. Y'all had a couple of legends on there, man, guys who I grew up watching. And, you know, I can't wait to tell my story because I always felt like my story was a little bit unique because you already mentioned like the Odell part of it, you know what I mean? Where, you know, I grew up in the roots, you know what I'm saying? West Oakland, and played every single youth sport or was part of every single youth organization in Oakland, you know what I mean? So growing up, knowing everybody, and man, like I said, I can't wait to tell my story with y'all too, man. Y'all two legends, y'all legends in y'allself too, though, man.
Lolo a legend. Hey, man, you a legend.
Hey, but you know,
I'm just a role player, man. I'm Derek Fisher.
You know how that go, man. You know, our legend status is long. It didn't last that long. We like Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel, right? Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel, right?
Oh, man, y'all town.
We was able to have it, right? But so you did mention you played all these sports growing up. Is there any rec center you was at in particular when you was growing up?
So for me, growing up in West Oakland, right across the street from Lowell Park, everybody knew that's where Kirk Morrison lived at, man. Okay. I was right across the street from Lowell Park, right next to the cornfield, the Acorn, right? Yeah. So you had all the cats that came out of Acorn, and then here I am 2 blocks away across the street from Lowell Park. So that was the spot where we played baseball at. We would, get a little basketball here and there, but that was my home field in terms of baseball. Now, the recreation center I grew up at was DeFermery. So DeFermery was right down the block. That's where, but you got to think though, it wasn't just sports. That's where, you know what I'm saying? When people say brothers don't know how to swim, that's where I learned how to swim at too, at the farm. Remember, we used to get in for $1. What was it, like 50 cents or $1 to get in during the summer?
Hop the fence, yeah.
Or hop the fence. See, come on, Ken, I ain't trying to get in trouble there. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that, okay? So I can't do that right now. But yeah, we hop the fence. Man, I actually, trying to work the system, you know how we are, town business. We're going to try to find a way. I'm not saying we scheming, but we're going to work some. I became a junior lifeguard. And so when you're a junior lifeguard, you get the free admission. So I was a junior lifeguard at DeFermery and during the summers, played the T-shirt league, Young America baseball there. So I did a little bit of that. My mom actually had took a job near in East Oakland, near like 90th. No, like 98th. I forgot when she was working over there. So I was kind of part-time, also Tassafaranga. Off of 90. So yeah, so I kind of got allegiances to all over because my grandma grew up but my grandma's house was off of 73rd. So 73rd and Krause. So that's a royal. So now when I'm going to grandma's house, either during the week or on the weekend, we at a Royal Park. You know what I mean? So
you got that's where.
Oh yeah, that's where when you bringing up the Gino story, Gino Vital, I call him Gino Baloney. Baloney. Right. People know him as Vital. I'm gonna call him Gino Baloney, his real name, but that's where him and his brothers, and God rest his soul to Gennaro, man, little brother. I know. Want to give a shout out to the family, but I mean, we used to go over there and play baseball with them, football. So I had cats all over the place, and I was at different rec centers all throughout the town. You know what I mean? The one I never did get to was Bush Ride to go play hoop. I never got to Bush Ride, Rick, because I wasn't hooping like that. Now, moms wouldn't let me go to North Oakland like that. But if I can get there by the 57 or the 88, I was good. You know what I'm saying? AC Transit, I'm good on these different spots. So my home rec was the Infirmary, but yet you could catch me at Tassa. You can catch me at all kind of other places.
So let's talk about that low, right? And being right at baseball, right? So everyone we talked to and during our era is not the same no more, but during our era played Oakland Bay Roof, man. Did you play Oakland Bay Roof with the team that was at low?
Yeah, I was a Kappa, born and raised, man. I was a Kappa, man. I was Kappa from age of...
Well, it was 2 Kappas now.
No, it was always 1 Kappa.
Okay.
All right? It was 1 Kappa. But then Kappa they made it 2 Kappas. Now, I don't want to get into politics on why they made it a Kappa 1 and a Kappa 2. Kappa 1 was straight gutter, was straight.
I always call it the West Oakland Kappa.
It was the West Oakland Kappa.
I call it West Oakland
Kappa. Is that the Kappa with Big Dame on it?
All of us, yes. We talking about Big Dame, Petey, Scooby. You know what I mean? Yeah. We talking about lower bottom.
Tubby?
Yeah, we had Tub. We had, I'm telling you.
So ship though, because I remember Ray Young hit that bomb in the first inning.
Man, people forget Ray could play some baseball, man. It was like, so Kappa 1 was like West Oakland. Kappa 2 was more like bougie.
We'll ask you.
Kappa 2 was like the bougie Kappa, you know what I'm saying? So you had 2, like their uniforms was a little bit whiter than ours, you know what I'm saying? But Kappa 1, we was straight West Oakland, man, and that's where I learned the game, man. And I was a third baseman growing up, always played the hot corner, man. Third base is where you was gonna find me, but man, playing Babe Ruth baseball, it truly changed my life, man. Like all the cats who we knew or we grew up with, like we still tell these stories to this day. You know what I mean? Whether it was going up against the likes of remember Chris Dixon. Remember how Chris used to
had him on the show.
Yeah, Chris on.
You already know Chris. So when y'all had him on, man, little J.R. Taylor. I mean, I got guys who you just like, man, people forget that. I know he went to De La Salle, but man, Atari Callan was a monster, brother.
You got him on.
You already
know, killer in baseball, right?
Luchelion, I mean, Bob, everybody, dog.
Like Bob on the show.
That's the thing about like some of these guys who I've seen on y'all show and who I grew up watching these cats. Like I was a fan of dudes who was my same age. Like, man, I'm about to go watch him pitch today.
Right.
Or I'm about to go watch this. And I mean, it was nothing like for us. That little parade from Burkhalter to 66 and East 14th, man. That was that little walk, that little parade every single year. I couldn't wait, man. Couldn't wait to put that jersey on.
It was on Soul Beat.
It was on Soul Beat. Yeah, the syrup stocks. I mean, the syrup socks. And man, you go get your little hot dog, get your nachos. Everybody.
And play opening day.
If they opening day was day was better than the major leagues. I felt like it was more people at Babe Ruth opening day than it was at the Oakland A's opening day.
It felt like
it. Honestly, I think Babe Ruth was like a town festival because it brought cats from old, young, new, and it brought everybody back. Because I think it was a lot of old heads that would come back too.
Oh yeah,
that played. And you just knew, and it was almost like a gang. like everybody had their game because
I
you look over
like
to the
that.
light. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you had your Axel Gospel gang, you had your Allen Temple gang, you had your Kappa gang, you got your Burris gang, Ward, Duvernay, you know what I'm saying? Like Bar S Foods. Who else was it?
Because you stay with the same organization from
TSU
all the way up.
I was just about to say, we didn't have a transfer portal. We didn't have a transfer portal.
We didn't have a transfer portal. Work your way.
You work your way up. Right.
And
bro, you ain't
no
never
all play
lied.
rule and you get cut.
Yep. And that's what it was. And you had to have game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, so I went all the way up, and I remember when I got to majors, they was Kappa was doing something, and I bounced. I went over to the Dodgers.
790 Dodgers.
Like 790, local 790, because they was like, look, we're gonna let you pitch, we're gonna let you do this. You come over here. So it was like going to death row. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you ain't got to worry about your coaches telling you, you're going to play here, play a little outfield. Like, no, you going in. And they was doing like rotations. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm trying to do everything. So 790, like, come over. And this was my boy, Joshua Dean.
Uh-huh.
So he was over there. So that's how we linked up. And then it was cool. So, and then it was, based out of North Oakland, West Oakland. So I would still be able to use my address. So that was good. But man, that's honestly, baseball is where it started at.
Yeah.
Then I got into a little bit of the recs in terms of basketball. But man, it really got popping when I turned 11, like 10, 11. And this is right when the Oakland Dynamites and the Oakland Saints, it was two organizations with Pop Warner. So I hadn't played football yet. Mom's was like, I'm not letting you play yet. You ain't ready yet. I'm like, man, I'm ready to do this. She was like, nah, you got to wait. You got to wait. But then when the Saints came out, they started in West Oakland.
Yep.
So I'm like, Mom, you can't say no now. It's right down the street.
Right.
Like I can walk to practice. And man, they started it up. And man, that's when I really got my first taste of tackle football. I was playing the flag and at the rec and all that, all that tag, two-hand touch and flag. No, I needed that tackle.
What group were you with? Who'd you?
So I started with the junior midgets. So man,
who was in that age group with you?
You already. So my team, and I still remember because I got the picture. I got to find the picture, man. I didn't do my homework. I should have brought my picture and had it ready for y'all because the first year of the Saints, we went 13-0, state champions, won everything. Our quarterback was Chris Dick. No, Chris wasn't the quarterback. Chris was the backup. It was Lance Pitts.
I remember
the quarter. Yep. LP was the running back. We had Anthony Lopez. We had Dave Bush.
Yeah, Dave Bush was a monster.
Dave Bush was cold.
Warner.
Rufus was out there. Okay. We had who else? Roof. We had Mayberry. Lamar Mayberry was on the.
Was Gene Jones on that team?
I think he was on there too, bro. We had Mario Holden was on there. Who else we had?
Was Levy the coach?
Levy was the coach. Yeah. I want to say even Ray Cleveland was on that one too.
Right. Jeff Drain. Because you and Jeff Drain went to Hoover together, right?
Yeah, we went to Hoover. That's another thing too, man. We all over the place, but that's why I know we're gonna get to my high school, but I went to Hoover. So I started at Hoover Elementary. And I was there from first grade, second grade, third grade, and then kind of some things happened at school. Mom was just like, man, I don't know if this is enough, because I wasn't getting in trouble, but it was trouble around us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
All the time,
and
right.
Mom's was like, look, man, obviously this is when I first started playing sports too. So she was like, but I want you to get an education. I want you to be able to do this. And so she sent me to Sacred Heart. And when I went to Sacred Heart, that's where I started playing basketball at. That's where I started hooping, because now I'm in the CYO. So we get the CYO, right? So we playing, I'm hooping. All of a sudden, this dude, he was playing baseball with us, but I had no idea he could hoop. Dude by the name of Adrian Cooper. Right. Whoop. So hold on, let me tell you. So you got to think, I don't know. Like I know Adrian from baseball though, because he played for Kappa as well.
Kappa.
Man, we over here in 7th grade. this dude over here damn near dunking.
Man.
Like, remember when we was slapping, he was slapping with the two though.
Yeah.
Remember, it's one thing everybody can do the little slap.
Right.
He's slapping with two.
Yeah.
And almost yoking that thing. I said, wow. So I knew Adrian was that deal. Yeah. I mean, baseball was cracking, but when I saw him playing hoop, I was like, oh,
it's a different level.
Man, the whole CYO was different because cats wasn't going to the school, but you could still play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like at Sacred Heart, I'm like, cool, but we played low. Like you was talking about St. Leo's, they loaded. St. Pascal's got all the East Oakland cats. That's Ray Young and all of them. They all at Pascal's. You know what I'm saying? And you got cats over at St. Elizabeth. They hooping. Man, it used to go down in the CYO. And then all of them cats would go play for the Rebels. You know what I mean? Now, when you was on the Rebels, you was the real deal. See that?
Hoover.
I can't tell you about the Rebels because I don't know about the Rebels. I just know.
With me both, brother.
Yeah. Hey, listen to me, man. I told this Marcus Malone story, man. And Marcus Malone played baseball with me. We played for Hammer. We played All-Stars together.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to junior high, I'm cocky, man. I play you one-on-one in hoop. I didn't know who Marcus Malone was on the hoop court. Yeah. So let's say we playing at 21. I probably had 8. We're going to turn the ball over, kid. He kept the ball most of the time, right? Yeah. So that let me know when you played Rebels AAU basketball way back then, you was the real deal back then. Now
you the best in the Bay. You was the best in the Bay, really. I mean, we wasn't thinking about nobody outside of Hayward, San Leandro, Berkeley, nothing, man. You played on the Rebels like that. Like Rebels was really the soldiers, like Oakland Soldiers. They was the beginning of the Oakland Soldiers. Like now people know Oakland Soldiers and all the cats, but the original Oakland Soldiers was the Rebels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because back then it was, I mean, baseball, Babe Ruth, it was a lot of teams, but it was a lot of kids. Basketball and football, it was really only like 1 or 2 teams. Like before the Saints came, it was just the Dynamites.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, but Kirk, how was that transition going from Hoover from kindergarten to 3rd grade and then going to Sacred Heart? What was the transition like for you leaving the guys behind and all of this stuff that you rocking with in West Oakland? What was the transition like?
Like I said, I'm glad I had my grandma, you know what I mean? Because now, Oakland is about sections and where you from.
Yeah.
So I had my folks in West Oakland who always would see me on the weekends because we playing baseball. At summertime, I'm still at the gyms, but during school time, I'm all the way at the edge of North Oakland at Sacred Heart, and what I'm saying, it was like really me and my younger brother and a couple other cats that we knew, but it wasn't like that big family knit. You know what I'm saying? To where when I got to my grandma's house on the weekend, man, you go to a Royal Park and you seeing everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
You seeing everybody.
And you seeing everything.
Everything. Everything, everybody. We going down to the creek. We doing all that. So the transition was like, all right, I'm doing the school thing. And I'm still like seeing cats from through the CYO, through the basketball. But then with baseball season, like you still like you with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like you still seeing like all your people. So as you growing up, like we all getting older and we all knowing each other, man. And that was kind of what I lived for too. As a youngster, like, man, I can't wait for baseball season because you knew like, and I think it was funny because we ain't had no babysitters, right? Growing up. Like, let's just be honest. Like, your mama dropped you off at 10 o'clock at Greenman and she picked you up at 6. You know what I mean? That's just right. You know what I mean? Or you call collect when it's time. Hey, mom, pick me up, and you hang up. Like, so that's when moms knew it was time to get picked up. But that was my thing on the weekends, was doing that. You know what I mean? And like, that was cool. So that was like the transition. And I knew at some point, like, it was the allegiance. Like, where was I gonna go coming out of that? Because like I just love sports so much, man. Like, people don't understand how much I love Oakland sports. Like, I was going to the Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center, man, for the OAL championships.
The Jamboree too.
It was the Jamboree was popping, but man, when that OAL game was for the championship, whether it was Mac, Fremont, Ojai, Castle, it didn't matter. Like, I'm there for the game. I'm watching. Moms was dropping me off at the Henry J, and I was a youngster, so I was able to get in because they were like, "Hey, where's your ticket at?" It's like I had to go to my mom's car to get. So okay, they let me in, so I was getting into them for free, man. And then on top of that, like every Friday after Thanksgiving, you just knew what it was. Like you already knew what it was. Like straight up, like. Get your best fit, get your outfit, get your crew. We going down to Laney College Friday afternoon, right after Thanksgiving. And that became like another, we talked about a little bit like that town parade for the Oakland Bay Roof. The Silver Bowl was really what I thought was like the culmination of all sports. Cause you got people from all over the Bay would come out to the Silver Bowl. Cause you have coaches from all kind of colleges. You would have everybody who played that year in the OAL. It was just like that game, and it was televised too. Remember that was the one. Shout out Mario Bobino. Yeah, shout out. Yeah, that's who y'all need to get on to.
I was just about to say that.
Get man, because he got
history. He got history,
real history. So man, and Bobino would do such a great job of filming it, and you can see the culture. I know he probably got clips and films of all the old stuff he used to do, but man, I would be there, and then to go back home and like watch the games over and over again, and watch some of the great teams that from like Ohio, Fremont, man, Skyline. Obviously, they was dominant, but I watched like all of it. You know what I'm saying? Tech, everybody. I would be there every Friday. I could say, every Friday after Thanksgiving, and I was going from the age of maybe like 8, 9. Moms just dropped me off. I'm gonna be there, and I was just sitting there watching. I used to be with me, maybe 1 or 2 other people. Sometimes I went by myself, but I was always about watching that Silver Bowl because that was my Super Bowl. Like, that was my big thing.
Let me ask you something, Kirk. So after you finished at Sacred Heart, right, and this love for OEL, was Bishop O'Dowd an automatic go-to for you, or was any OEL schools on the table when you made that decision to go to, when your mom made the decision, because we kids, when your mom made the decision to send you to O'Dowd, like was any OEL schools on the table?
Yeah, that was the decision, right? You get out of 8th grade, and my mom graduated from Oakland High, so she an Oakland High grad. My dad graduated from Castlemont, so he a Castlemont grad, right? I'm in West Oakland, and I'm supposed to go to Mac. Mac was my home school. And like y'all just said, y'all had Lonzo on. Me and Lonzo talk about it all the time. Had I went to Mac, right? What Mac have been there? You know what I mean? Not saying that we would have dominated the OAL, but we definitely would have been. You never know.
You kind of, if you go there, you bring Josh with you. You bring Josh with you.
We bring, I could have brought us a couple cats with me, man. Like, honestly, because it was a couple dudes that was there. Because you remember Marvin Henderson.
That's my guy. He started at Oakland High.
Yeah. So we remember Marvin was West Oakland too, though.
Yep. Marv started. Well, actually, Marv started at O'Dowd.
He started at O'Dowd, right? That's what I'm saying. We all started. We all start, but we was all West Oakland. But O'Dowd at the time they had a lot of this scholarship money that came out as generous donor because they wanted to get more diverse. So this is back in 2000. They wanted a
winning sports team. That's just,
you could say winning sports team, but honestly,
they still was winning. They had Ricky Walker.
Yeah, that was already winning.
Ricky Walker was winning. Yeah. Ricky Walker beat Oakland High at Oakland High when Oakland High had E. Cook and Tone Bond, Mike Bonds, and them. I was at that game, Ken. They also just lost to Mac in basketball.
Nah, Ken, they was already rolling, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. O'Dowd was already rolling, but that was the school.
I'm gonna take y'all word for it.
No, but that was the school on the hill.
Yeah.
So because they was a school on the hill, like for me, I'm like, man, because I wanted to go to Skyline at the time because Skyline was there.
Yeah.
So even though moms were here, so I was like, I can't go to the schools that they went to. I want to go to my own school. So it was either gonna go to Skyline or go to O'Dowd or Mac. But then who the wild card was? The wild card was out of all of them was Berkeley High.
Wow.
Because remember, Berkeley was just starting to get it popping.
Yeah.
And Berkeley was the first school in the Bay to have that AstroTurf. Remember that?
Right. Yeah. Right. That rug burn.
So that rug burn. But you got to think, you ain't have to worry about it back then. But to us back then, man, we all could wear, that was
everything.
Wear tennis shoes and play.
Yeah. So you can go put your Jordans on to go play.
Right.
But yeah, mom's made it. She was like, look, they got an opportunity that, O'Dowd is presenting because of, the scholarships that was available. Now, I mean, this still was going to hit. It was still hit. It's still O'Dowd. That price was going to hit per month. So mom's was like, look, I want you to go there. It'll give you a better chance, better opportunity at just at a future. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even about sports yet, because I wasn't even playing, like thinking about sports like that. I was just still playing Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Because I ended up going to O'Dowd. I had to take an entrance exam. So you had to do all that to get in. And then once we got in, it still was like we was freshmen, but I didn't know a bunch of the cats who was playing ball. So I remember my freshman year, I get there and I was kind of hot because I played freshman football. I didn't try out for JV. I went straight to freshman because I was kind of hot because I was too heavy to play midget still. So Josh, my boy Josh, I think Rufus was still playing midget. A lot of cats were still playing midgets. My boy even Marviel Underwood, who I know is another guy, man, like they was all still playing midgets. And yet here I am, I had to play freshman football. And I was dominating too, bro. Like some of them cats didn't know how to put their pants on, right?
They never played before on freshman football.
So freshman football, I'm like, man. So I wasn't really tripping because I was playing that. I was still, so it was basically I was at O'Dowd my freshman year, but yet I was still trying to play on the outside, if that makes sense. Like I'm still trying to play OAL, Oakland Babe Ruth, which I did, because my freshman year I was on the 14-15, Babe Ruth champions, regional champions. We won the regional in Babe Ruth that year with Big Greer was on the squad. Who else, man? We had a bunch of dudes on that squad. My 15-year-old year, we had. I just always remember we played and we beat Dontrell Willis.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alameda.
Alameda, when he was the Alameda All-Star.
So y'all beat them at San Leandro Ballpark.
You remember? How you know, Lo? Tell him, Lo.
Man, that's San Leandro. I remember that. Yep. That was like a couple years after we had just finished playing, and that was the game. Like this is right when remember when Alameda took Jimmy and Twan.
Yep.
And they became
took them
there.
from us.
So our rivalry was we catch them in All-Stars, and we not at that major mound no more where Jimmy could throw 99 miles per hour. No,
exactly.
We had a different mound so we could see the ball better.
Yep.
So I remember our rivalry being that Alameda All-Stars versus Oakland All-Stars for regional, District 4.
Yep.
For our District 4 regional. So beating Dontrell was like, that was a good one.
But Dontrell was like their whole squad though. Like Dontrell was, man, he would throw 7 innings of like no hit baseball, then come up and hit a 2-run homer and they win the game type. You know what I mean? Like that was real. But Lo, he just brought that back, man, because we always thought that Twan was gonna be better than Jimmy. Because Twan was. Man, Twan was hitting. He was hitting dingers, bro. Like
it's some stories behind that, man. Playing Twan my age level, Jimmy a year higher, right? Mm-hmm. It was more so that Jimmy was more fundamentally sound. He was more fundamentally sound as far as like even in the outfield. He was able to switch hit back then, just being more fundamentally. Twan had a different type of delivery and stuff, but we was able to. And then Twan played on a team with Ray Young. Like Ray Young was the guy I feared pitching on that mound. Like Ray, he lefty. You can't throw him a curveball, kid. He'll hit you to the village.
I've seen it.
So you got to be careful, right? So Ray was the fear one, but then he had Tavaro and Hooch and all of them around Twan. Jimmy was just Jimmy. Like he go win the game, like you say, Trail will win.
Yeah.
Definitely great memories of playing against them dudes, man, and seeing where they went, seeing where Jimmy went with his career. Shit.
Yeah.
So
he's still. That's what I'm saying. Like those are the cats who I was like looking up to, watching to, man, like watching their careers grow. That's the one thing I think growing up in the Bay was that you knew who was real and who wasn't real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you knew, like, okay, yeah, that dude, okay, he gonna be something. You know what I'm saying? Like you just knew. And when we all got to high school, right? When we got into the later years of high school, I think early on, cats was still there, and then some cats was going to this high school, and everybody go to transfer. But I felt like by your junior year of high school, you knew who it was. You knew who was the best hooper. You knew who was the best football player. You knew who was the best. Like, you just knew, because cats was getting, all kind of just love. Whether it was, man, we didn't have 2-star, 3-star, 5-star recruits.
Right.
All we had was the Oakland Tribune, and if you got your name in the paper, that's how we knew.
Player of the week.
Player of the week.
Hey, I used to go do, Ken. Once I knew I was in the papers. Back then, they used to throw the papers in the neighbor's hood. Yeah. I'll go take all of them.
Or they had the newsstand.
Or at the newsstand.
Like
we'll go buy 50 of them.
Yeah, or right? You remember they used to put them in a little thing, and you had to put in 50 cents. But
that's what I'm talking about, the little newsstand.
Take them all out.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Hey, but when you was there, your freshman year, you dominate freshman football, right?
Yep,
but at this time, Josh is playing midgets, right?
Midgets, killing.
Was Josh at O'Dowd with you?
Yeah, so he was at O'Dowd with me.
Why he didn't play freshman? Like, it was much more competitive to play still with the Saints, or like he just was cool on the freshman?
Yeah, if the midgets played against our freshman team, the midgets would have won. Like, just Oakland was just come on, we get the best of the best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You got to think this was still like that rivalry, the Dynamites versus the Saints, or Dynamites Crusaders, or Crusaders or Berkeley Cougars. You know what I'm saying? Like, cats was still playing. Oh yeah, shout out to, just because it just came to my attention, a lot of cats who you remember, and I remember like one of the best football players I ever seen. I don't know if y'all remember Quinton Ganther.
Yeah,
I don't remember him as a youth, but I know who he is now.
Bro,
he's coaching, and didn't he just get a coaching job with Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville?
I think he in the league, or he's still in college, but he's coaching. Quinton,
I remember him.
Well, first of all, he never grew since he was 12. But what the size that he was at 12 is the same size that, like, he went, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was bigger than everybody. He just never grew. But he was a monster. So he was one of them cats that was balling. Another cat, I don't know if y'all remember Devlin Jackson.
Of course.
He was out there in Fairfield. He was killing. Yeah, but he was playing in the Bay. I mean, he was playing at Oakland too, though. So he was doing
Fremont. Right.
So that's how I was saying, like, everybody was bouncing around and we couldn't figure out where everybody was at. But by your junior year of high school, it was like, okay, this is what you got going on. This is who playing. This is all that. So we was, like, I was locked in. So after freshman football, after freshman football, the next year was my sophomore year. And coach at the time, Coach Perrin, who was my high school coach, told me, like, all right, here go JV. Are you coming out for the varsity? You going to go play varsity? I said, nah, I'm going to play JV. He was like, well, you should play varsity. I said, Coach, I'm not playing varsity. Why am I go to varsity? I'm not going to play. Like, I know if I go to varsity, I'm going to be on the squad, but I'm not just going to be no tackling dummy. And a lot of the cats who now was transitioning from the midgets came over to play JV as a sophomore so they could have their first year playing.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play JV. And coach was looking at me like surprised because, you know, it was a big thing to be a sophomore on varsity in high school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was a big thing. And I told him, like, I wasn't really tripping because at the time, look, I just loved playing.
Right.
So I didn't need that notoriety of walking around school with my jersey on Friday. I was playing JV. So my sophomore year, I was playing JV, but I was playing with the homies though.
Right.
And man, we was out there killing. Oh man.
Did he pull you up though? He pulled you up though, right?
So that I'm gonna get to it.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say, I know you ain't played the whole season.
So I think it's 12 games in the season, right? Man, them first 6 games, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. We out there killing. I'm talking about we talking shit. You gotta think though.
Who is it? Is you, Josh? Was Micah on that team?
Josh. Micah Sattler. They was up. Remember, they all went to varsity.
What about Gabe? Was Gabe on the team?
They all on Gabe. So they on varsity and they not playing. And they watching me, and Josh. I'm running for like 100 a game. Josh getting like 100 in receiving. Yeah. Man, we knocking cats out. And you got to think, they was, you know, when the varsity come off the bus, they walk into the game, JV playing. Man, me and Josh out there. I remember one time and this was like the second to last game. I always remember this, where I was still on JV. So the varsity was kind of standing right in the end zone. They had just walked up. And I forgot what school we was playing. We was playing over in like Concord. I bust one for like 65 yards. Came in, I ran all the way through the back of the end zone, dropped the ball, and was looking at Coach Perry and I, and was like, and then Josh came. We did like 3-4 handshakes. Me and the homies did 3-4 handshakes. And we were so active, but we brought that
swagger.
That town. We brought that swagger. We brought that. And then one of my OGs, Mario Holden, shout out to one of my guys who played with me on the Saints and then came over there. He said, man, Coach P was like, yeah, we don't play football that way, like, because we was out there stunting, we was acting a fool. And then like 2 weeks later, he was like, I can't let you play JV no more. Like, I got to bring you up. Like, he's like, I can't let you do. I'm like, but Coach, I'm playing. He's like, no, you're going to have more of a benefit of playing varsity. You're going to practice with us. You're going to do this. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So that my career in JV was over, and I went up to varsity, and yeah, that's my sophomore year. So we ended up, winning North Coast. We ended up beating Amador Valley, which was a kid by the name of Junior Adams. There you go.
That was Junior Adams. Went to like Northwestern, I think.
Yeah. So Junior Adams, who I'm still cool with to this day. I think he's still he got back at Boise, I want to believe.
He's doing something in the coaching world. He's at is it Wazoo now, Kent?
Yeah, he had one of them.
Yeah. Zoe told us last week. Zoe told us that Junior been real instrumental in keeping these black coaches things together. So definitely shout out to Junior Adams, man.
Shout out to him, man. And like I said, I remember, watching him live, and that was our whole game plan, was to stop number 4 Adams, right? Only brother on the team, right? Man, Junior was killing, had the back flap out, everything. I was like, man, we got to stop him. But
he was booming.
So,
hey, but Kirk, I need to know this, man. If these all facts, do your 10th grade year on varsity to the time you graduated, you guys only lost 3 games total?
3 games.
Who did y'all lose to?
3 games. So like I said, we didn't lose my sophomore year. We went undefeated. Okay. Actually, you know what? We tied a game. We tied my sophomore year. Shout out to another guy, rest in peace, man. Our guy, Terrell Roberts. Remember, he played at El Cerrito.
Right.
So it was him. I forgot who his quarterback was. His quarterback was real too. McBride. Joe McBride. So Joe was quarterbacking. So they had a big fullback too. I forgot his name. But so you had El Cerrito, which was another one of them big games on top of the hill. They came up, and we had a tie that day. So I never lost my sophomore year. My junior year, I came in, and I remember we lost to Monta Vista out there in Danville. Man, them boys came up, and they put it on us early. We came back, but we ran out of time. And I think we lost probably by 5 or something like that. We ran out of time. And man, I was sick because we ain't never lose.
Right.
So we can't let this happen again. But then that's when that rivalry started, because now Marvell Underwood, Pierre Harper, San Leandro, Mike Smith, all them cats. So that's when they came out, and they came to O'Dowd. And I always remember there's certain plays in my career I can remember to where it was literally silent and I could hear my heartbeat. That was like the opening kickoff. We playing San Leandro, and they came out and they planted that pirate flag, San Leandro Pirate. They planted that pirate flag in the middle of our field. I'm like, oh, here we go, man. It's going down here. Because this was because I like to play talking shit, man. You know what I mean? I like to, how it is
West Oakland.
In Oakland sports, bro. We play off that. We turned up. We
hit you and then tell you we hit.
It's on mine. It's on me right now. What's good with it? Man, we kicked off to Pierre Harper. That boy cut left, cut right. Man, next thing I know, I'm watching Harper, number 2. I can see his back. And them boys scored a touchdown and started acting a fool. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And I literally, it was like an out-of-body experience. again, we played, we came, coming back and just ran out of time. So now we done lost 2 games. So now we sick.
And this is your junior year.
This is my junior year.
So this class of 99. This is
class of 99.
This is Quinn's senior year.
This is Quinn's senior year.
Okay.
And this is what I'm playing. I was Quinn fullback, because you had to play fullback, and then the next year you'll be the tail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing outside linebacker, but I forgot somebody came in. This one I knew it was real because I was blocking for Quinn, and somebody came in. So whop and smashed me. Knocked me all over. I'm like, oh. And then from that game, after losing that one, I remember crying, man. I cried the whole time, man. I was like, man, we ain't gonna never lose again, dog. Like I told him, like, we ain't gonna never lose again. Like straight up, I don't care what it do. Like, I don't want this. And literally, we didn't lose again until my last game of my senior year. So we beat.
Was it state championship back then? Was it state championship?
It was just the North Coast.
That's North Coast. That's NCS.
Yeah. So we played San Leandro again that year, but we played them at Burrell Field this time in the playoffs. Smacked them. Went to the North Coast championship. Played Clayton Valley. Won. So then we win North Coast. We lost 2 games, but we ended up winning. I had a touchdown and I had the only touchdown of the game. We won 10-0. So I scored a touchdown, like a little 30-yard run. I'm on Sports Focus. I took my helmet off.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. We won. We beat Clayton Valley. I got the picture, man. I scored the only tug. So I'm hyped now. I'm getting like a little burn with the colleges. I'm starting to get, a little bit of letters and stuff like that. And then my senior year come around, and now we legit. Now everybody is up. So that same freshman class that came in, we whole, right? Micah, Gabe, my boy Chad Washington. I remember
little Chad.
Yeah, little Chad was a
Allen Temple.
Yeah, played for Allen Temple. Yeah.
Was Corey your year or the year before?
Yep, Corey was DN.
Okay.
So we had him. We had my boy Burrow Toller also. He was a safety. Man, so we had this was our night. Literally, this was the best team I think O'Dowd was gonna have. So we only had there was 2 games that year that was going to be the test. Number 1 was that Fremont game against Fremont. And that was OAL versus the Kids on the Hill. And so I always felt like that I had more to prove because, okay, I know I'm Kirk and I go to O'Dowd, but I ain't never left that swagger, that confidence. Like, I'm still Kirk from West Oakland. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I got this Block O on me, but I'm still from the West. Yeah. Like, that ain't gonna never change. So I always felt like that chip on my shoulder too, because you know how they're gonna try to come in and punk you. Yeah. Like,
I definitely, we definitely thought we was about to come in there.
We talk about that on the Hill. We talk about how talk about it on the time on the rec center, how man, that Fremont was not just playing Fremont versus O'Dowd. Fremont playing OEL versus O'Dowd. Because they went up there representing all of us, right?
All of us.
But we like, I'm from Oakland though, man. When they lost, you didn't represent me. You represented Fremont. that had nothing to do with us, right? But the game was legendary in itself. What happened on the field, like still talked about to this day. And they say it could have went both ways. They say a fumble, a cause, whatever happened, right?
Right.
But what was it like for you guys that played Saints with these dudes that's coming up from Fremont and being from Oakland, knowing that they think they're about to come up there? I mean, being from Oakland at O'Dowd and feeling like they're about to come punk you guys. Yeah. What was the energy like for you dudes that's from Oakland that was at O'Dowd?
Well, you got to think, man. I think just the backstory on it too was that, like the sidebar was that I'm going up against Red and Gino, and we was teammates on Kappa. So Red and Gino, we was teammates. Red was our pitcher. I think Gino was like outfield. I was third base. So we was like all friends, you know what I'm saying? And, Gennaro was like a little younger than us, right? But it was just at that core. So when I'm going up against them, like it was going to be fun. So Red was the quarterback at the time, and then Gino was the back. So this was like, you just knew it was a bigger game, right? And it was on a Saturday up on top of the hill. So you already know the OAL was coming up. And it was just, man, you just got that feeling. And, we went out there, man, and I forget how the game, like, kind of, I forget how the game went, because I got it on tape, and I got to go sit back and watch it. But I think the big thing was, I remember Geno had that run. That was the only touchdown that they had. Remember, Geno had the run, and it was the big hit. It was play of the week.
Talk about that, man. Talk about that.
Honestly, the one thing people don't realize is that was the one play that got me a scholarship. Every college coach that I talked to said they wanted to turn on the Odell versus Fremont film. They didn't care about us playing against this school or that school. They was like, that's the first tape they turned on, and they was watching me, and I was getting off. I was making plays, had a couple plays in the backfield, but he said it was that play where they just saw, like, I was on the backside of the play, and Geno get out, and he hitting the sideline, and I'm just taking off, and I'm running, and I'm looking, and it's like he trying to get to that front pylon. That's where he trying to get to. And man, he getting there, and it's like, you see, we gonna meet, right? We gonna meet right there at that pylon. I'm coming from inside out. He coming down the sideline. And it's like in a moment of, like, a quick second, he dove. And when he dove, because I thought he was gonna try to run through me to get in. Because Geno was solid back then. Right. So I thought he was just gonna stick his head down and run through me. And so if you saw what happened, I kind of got surprised because he jumps in the air. So now I got to change my launch angle from, like, going down here. And if you notice, I had to come up, like, with my head, and I hit him. We both hit, but we both knocked each other, and we both went sideways. Like, think about two dudes trying to meet at the same spot. We both hit and go sideways. But yeah, he held on to the football. He crossed the line. Touchdown, man. And then he got up and he started stunting, and I'm sitting there sick because, I mean, he got the better end of that one. Like, he didn't run me over, but I got there just too late. But the coaches was like, man, I don't care what said, that wasn't no touchdown. You was there before him, but look at the effort. And so I literally had like 3 coaches who was like, man, is this the play right here where this is the reason why we offered you?
That's amazing.
They pulled up that play. And I was like, man, I was just trying to run, go get him. That was the most memorable play out of there. And I believe we was up 14-6 and the final minutes of the game. And we had the goal line stand. It was the goal line stand to where they 4 plays. Geno tried to jump over the top, and he jumps over the top. And I had big Micah Jackson Sattler broke through the line, and he grabbed that leg before he could extend the ball. The referee said, nope, he didn't get in. And the part about it was people was like, oh, they cheating. Man, they got these refs. Like, nah, these was like town refs.
Probably Melvin Landry, probably.
Yeah. James, remember Uncle James? James.
These was like real town refs. He wasn't like, oh, because you got to think they was working Friday games, and then Saturday we would get the same refs because nobody didn't play Saturday games. Everybody played Friday, so they would come and work our games on Saturday. So we had black refs too. So it wasn't like it.
If anything, they was going to be cheating.
Why were you guys games on Saturdays and not Friday night? Did they not have lights at the time?
Nah, didn't have no lights. So no lights, man. And honestly, I kind of liked it though, Lo, because I knew that we was going to get cats up there.
Right.
Because cats played on Friday night and Saturday. What was you kind of doing? Like, what was you going to do? It was like,
nothing.
Man, Odell, let's go up to Odell. So you had cats put their jerseys on from the night before, and we see them in the stands, and then they would come and sit like right by these little stairs by the end zone. So I remember we used to just go score and just talk shit. Like, we're going to see y'all later on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we was in the Hayward League. So we're going to see Hayward High. We're going to see like Arroyo High School. We're going to see Castro Valley. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see them.
Yeah.
But it came down to that game. We beat Fremont. And then we knew we had one more later on. And that was the one that was kind of for the league championship. Odell versus San Leandro. We both 8-0. Friday night game of the week, Sports Focus, all of that. Burrell Field, under the lights, right there, 880 in the background. That thing sold out. And, obviously we thought about what happened last year. And, man, I had 2 tuds on them, an interception. Man, I killed him. That's the one that me and Marviel, who was my roommate in college, we talk about to this day. Like, we shut them down. Man, we smacked them, like, all the way. We won that one.
Hey, real quick, because did you guys play, being at O'Dowd, did you guys play St. Mary's during those years?
That's the 2 games I wish I would have played, right? I wish we would have played St. Mary's, because St. Mary's had, obviously, Big Renzo. They had
Jafar. Remember Jafar?
Jafar. They had Jafar, but they had Eddie George. Not Eddie. Was it Eddie George?
Preston George.
No, Preston George, but it was Eddie Smith.
Eddie Smith. There you go. So I'm thinking of 2 different backs at the same time. Yeah. It was Eddie Smith, and Tristan George. So Tristan came after, but Eddie Smith was the first dude.
No, Eddie Smith was
cold.
Yeah.
Eddie Smith was like light-skinned cat with the white spats with the puka shells coming out, swagged out.
And they had Pocky too. Pocky was there too.
Pocky was there too. So you had all of them. And we never got a chance to have that opportunity. Then the other one I talked about with John Beam, like, man, I wish we could have got it done at O'Dowd Skyline. That was the one I really wanted.
Because I feel like Fremont was the OAL second best.
It was. Because remember, Skyline won that year too.
Yeah.
With Rufus and
let me just pause y'all real quick, because when he said an O'Dowd versus Skyline game, all I thought about is a Saturday afternoon at O'Dowd and how many girls would be at that game.
I'm gonna graciously walk out of this part.
But that's part of it, Ken.
It is. I mean,
because had they had that one, we would have called the homie Gene. Gene would have had a Black Saturday function ready.
We would have been at it. We would have been after party for this game is going down, man.
The after party would have been probably at like San Leandro Bowl or something. They would have had it at one of them old, what is it?
Nursery home.
Where was that?
Had a nursery home, one of them Mason centers or something, one of them lodges. Yeah. We had at the Elks Lodge. We'd have had it at something.
They was gonna need to have that one at the hearing.
Bro, we had at the Holiday Inn banquet room. That thing would have been so popular.
So when you chose, and we're gonna get into recruiting, but when you chose to go to San Diego, was it a pact between you, Josh, and Marvell to go there? Like, did y'all be like, yo, we all 3 get recruited by here, fuck it, let's just go town business out there?
Man, so we all had like different spots, man. So like I said, I started the recruiting process kind of picked up for me my senior year, because my junior year, man, like I said, even still, I wasn't even playing middle line. I was playing middle linebacker, but I was primarily playing offense my junior year, because we had some seniors and stuff. That's one thing about O'Dowd. It's kind of like seniority, and then as you go. So my senior year, I was going to be able to start on both sides and do all that. So my senior year, I really started to, because my junior year, after my junior year was over, I always remember, I always tease my boy DJ Williams, because DJ Williams was the best football player the Bay has ever seen. Like, DJ Williams was that dude. DJ was the first 5-star recruit in the nation in the Bay. Like, he was just ridiculous. So we went to the
one recruit on both sides of the ball.
That's why I say, like, people forget, man, like, in the cream of the crop of the Bay Area's best, when they had that paper came out, he's still the only dude that they had a picture of him running the ball in his white jersey and a picture of him in his green jersey tackling, because he was the offensive and defensive player of the year.
I'm about to say, did they have an image of him tackling himself? Like,
right.
It looked like it. It almost looked like it. So they put 2 pictures up: offensive player of the year, DJ Williams, and he running with a white jersey. And then defensive player of the year was like kind of right next to him in a green jersey for De La Salle, like making a tackle on somebody. And I'm like,
hey man,
while we on the subject of DJ,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm gonna speak from a quarterback's perspective.
Right.
Did you want him to play in that Contra Costa County, Alameda County game? Because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never been scared of nobody, but I was happy he didn't play.
bro, he was like the same size he is now, what he was in high school.
And I was playing quarterback, and he would have been playing linebacker. And I was
he was a dog. He was a grown man. Dog, he was a grown man. And we went to the Nike camp over at Stanford together, and he was like,
no, it was ridiculous, bro.
It was ridiculous because I'm standing like maybe 2 people behind him. But when he went up to do his little drills, all you heard was the camera. Like, I'm like, is this a Nike camp or the DJ Williams Invitational?
Showcase. Yeah.
Like, it's his showcase. So after that, I mean, like, we kind of, followed him, whatever. We was cool. We've been cool ever since, man. I always laugh about that. But
I need some dime gear, man.
But one thing we did at Kirk, one thing we did at the Rec Center, we did a ranking of running backs from 96 to 2004, right? And we picked 10 running backs. I'm going to run the list down to you and tell me who you think should
96 to 04. Okay.
Yeah, so we have DJ Williams.
Yep.
We have Atari Collin.
Oh, yeah. Them too, for sure.
Maurice Jones-Drew. We have Marshawn Lynch. We have a kid named Ken Simonton who played.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know Big Ken from Pittsburgh.
We had Jackie Crooks. Jackie Crooks was out of Logan.
Yep.
We have Michael Denard, who was a teammate of mine at Tech.
At the Tech house.
We got Treston George. We have Roger Ratliff, who played at Skyline.
At Skyline, number 25.
28. He was 28.
No, he was 28 with the back flap. His back flap used to always come up because he used to play. Because he played D line. That's why. Because he played D line, but played back. Like, how you play D line and you're a running back? But all right, go ahead.
Hold on. And then we have the last one on the list, number 10, and it wasn't no order. It was just 10. Was Red. Was Red Vital? Was Red?
Yeah, Red was there. Golly.
Do you feel anyone else to be added to the list, and who would you take off if you added someone on?
To 2004, I'm trying to think about. It was another back that was just.
I mean, it was definitely some more backs. We actually left a couple backs out. We left Leon Collin off. Leon was
Atari brother. Yeah. Man,
Muhammad. We left Muhammad off.
We left Kevin Simon out.
Kevin Simon. But Kevin Simon was not really a back. I think because. To finish off my senior year, I broke my foot in the game before. So I was going to try to play my last game. We 12-0. I'm trying to be the only team in No Doubt history to go 13-0, win the championship, all that. Broke my foot. But I wanted to be able to go up against Will Smith out of Ignacio Valley.
Yeah.
Remember, people forget Will Smith was that dude too.
Yeah.
Will
Smith
almost
beat De La.
He almost beat De La. That's how he got his name, because De La was blowing everybody out, but he had like 3-4 touchdowns in the game at De La. And that's how he got his love. So I would probably put him up on that list too, because he had a nice little 2-year run, and people forget about it at Ignacio Valley.
So one of the things, the argument is Raj Ratliff, right?
But Raj had his senior year. You can't duplicate what he did.
That's our argument, right? But the argument is he didn't do it. All he did was a senior year because he was a D lineman. So we had Gino on here, and we always ask people in the Rec Center this question: who you figure was overrated when you played against them in high school? Gino said all the Skyline running backs, right? And he felt as if Skyline in the OEL, Bean was just ahead of the curve in his coaching with the system on getting the O-line off to the second level blocking. No one other than that did that. So the running back job was easy. But then you got people like Giannis Davis.
Who came in and balled.
You got Frank Summers, Rod Ratliff, right? And we asked Gino this question, and it's like these running backs shouldn't even think about being on the list because they were a system running back, right? But them dudes were some killers though, right? They were some killers. And that's how he felt about Raj Ratliff. But we like, hey, what Raj did his senior year and the people he did it against. Like, it wasn't a game he didn't do it against nobody. Like, I remember being at the Amador Valley game and he playing against Junior Adams. He looked like the better back that game running for Skyline. You know, he playing against Logan. Logan had Damian Mackey and Roy Williams.
And
Roy Williams. Rod was running through Damian Mackey and Roy Williams, right?
Like I said, man, remember Rod was player of the year too, though.
Yeah.
So Rod was the man. Like, I know he just didn't play that junior year like that. His senior year was probably one of the best years that we had ever seen. And I think you got to think on top of that was that, like nobody, like I forgot who it was. I can't think of the other kid name. It was another dude who he won because he was the co-offensive player of the year. People forget in the Bay, it was another. I can't think of the other cat.
Running back?
It was a running back. He had like dreads. I want to say he was. I'm gonna think of it, dog, because I remember it. He was co. I want to, because I know he had an all black jersey on. He was cold too. I forgot his name. You forget because he didn't play in the OAL.
Right.
But he played for like a one. Man, I'm gonna find it because I used to keep all those articles. Man, I used to keep when that thing came out. I'm looking. I want it all in.
Good at man. So
I would argue Treston, Lo. I would argue Treston because I'm not so like I love Treston. He's on there. But I'm not sold with him and Eddie Smith. Like I would debate that Eddie might be a little bit, like they go.
They almost cancel each other out though, because they was toting that thing 40 times a game.
Yeah.
they wasn't having a dub. They was toting it 40 times a game. So you gonna break one.
Right.
I mean, you know, any list and rankings we come up with is debatable. You know,
and they was playing against like Encinal and Piedmont too, and Alameda High, bro. Like,
definitely.
Come on, man. They playing against Kennedy Richmond. Like Kennedy Richmond ain't got no football.
So Kirk, let me ask you this though, Kirk, and who do you feel you played against that was overrated? Like when they was hyped up, but when you played against them, you like, hey man, this dude just hyped right now. It's like it's all hype. Anybody you played against like that?
Man, in the OAL, bro.
Or even in
or
your
just
league,
in general.
In general. Or even in the HAAL.
Man. Oh, I know. I got one. Pasha Jackson went to Tennyson.
I remember that.
Like QB, played QB and linebacker. He ended up being a better linebacker. He ended up going to Colorado.
He went to Oklahoma.
No, Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He went to Oklahoma and he was a linebacker.
But did he go to City College before you went to Oklahoma?
Yep.
Did he go to City College?
He went to City out of there. So he went from Tennyson to City. But everybody kept talking about Pasha Jackson. I'm like, man. And I remember we played him on a Friday night. We shut their ass out. Tennyson, Friday night at Chabot. Wow. Under the lights. I remember, trust me, that's how I remember the game because they was gearing up. I'm like, man, let me see what this dude all about. Now, get it. He probably was a better linebacker than he was a quarterback. So I was just more like, I'm going up against this quarterback. And man, we shut him down. Now, linebacker, he was cold, but running back, like he was way overhyped. He was like, man, you ain't gonna do nothing. Because I was defensive player of the year in the HAL for 2 years in a row. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this the one. So only 1 year, my 1 year, because I didn't win in my junior year, my senior year, but that's what they was trying to put it up as the top quarterback versus defense. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna see. So I was saying he was overrated. I had to prove it.
Okay, and who you played against you felt was underrated? Like, hey, this dude way better than like he dope. Anybody was underrated?
Yeah, white boy out of Castro Valley.
No, Willits,
bro.
Oh
man,
I didn't think he was that good, Kirk.
Hey man, you might think he was up there, but Willits was bringing it every game. White boy. Yeah.
Okay. Like, you can't argue somebody's opinion on what is
No. The only reason I said something because when you asked the overrated question, Willits came to my mind.
Yeah.
So then when he said he was underrated, I'm like, okay. Yeah. But you saw him more than I did. I just saw him. I saw him. Yeah. Anything is All-Star game.
I think more so because we had battles. Like he played from his
definitely
sophomore
brought the pop.
Yeah, from his soft. So we played against each other sophomore year, junior year. Like sophomore, he played JV. Oh no, I think he might have played. Yeah, sophomore he played JV, and then he went up. So me and him had that same like trajectory. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
We played sophomores together, then juniors, then seniors, but every game, man, Willits, and
he definitely brought it.
He brought it.
He
was so like I said, he was underrated. I'm not saying like he was like man, he was this end all. But I'm just saying like for me, he was tough to bring down. Like for me, I knew I had to bring it up because that dude was gonna give it every single play. He was kind of swelled up too. You know what I'm saying?
He brought it.
He was at that Castro Valley swole.
Yeah, I think for me it was because I kept reading about him and seeing him on Sports Focus.
Yeah,
at running back. So I'm thinking Eddie Smith. I'm thinking like a nifty, shifty.
Nah, he ain't that. He was downhill.
When I saw him,
he was downhill. Like, Mike Allstott on you.
Yeah, Allstott. That's the perfect way to put it.
I didn't like playing against them. They didn't know pain. They didn't know pain.
Like, first of all, he had a neck roll that went like all the way up his back. So you know when he was coming, like he ain't dodging. He coming and running right through you.
Yeah, dive.
And ain't talking nothing too. Yeah. Like he ain't talking no shit. He coming right like bow. Next play, mouthpiece in. Wow, every play. I'm like, God, come on, man, give me a break.
Hey, so sorry to get off subject with that, fellas,
you
man.
good.
So back to we were talking about with the recruiting and you, Gabe, and Marvell.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You said it picked up for you after that game.
Yeah.
What all schools came calling and when you made the choice to go to San Diego State?
Yeah, so UNLV was there from the beginning. And then as my senior season started going along, the Pac-10 at the time started to come in. Washington, right? Arizona. Okay, then you start to get Cal never recruited me, and it's crazy that Tom Homo, he's actually the athletic director now at BYU, but he was the head coach at Cal at the time, and I was like, man, you didn't recruit me. He was talking about because Wendell Hunter was better than you, the cat from LA.
Wendell Hunter,
Wendell Hunter from LA. He's like, yeah, we had to take a backer. I went with the cat from LA. I said, all right, that's cool. But you see where I ended up. He was like, all right. But yeah, no, so I had all these opportunities, but I think what really sold it was that they had like this recruiting trip. Like it was the second Saturday in December because the first weekend was the championships for the CIF, North Coast. Mm-hmm. The next weekend I went on a recruiting trip to Vegas. That was one. But so it might have been the third weekend. So it's that last little recruiting weekend before you take a break, before you pick up the trips after New Year's. Mm-hmm. Man, they brought us all down to San Diego, bro. And it was me, Josh, Marviel. And man, it was about 70 degrees in December. Man, they took us around. Man, we went to like the 18 and up club too. No, it wasn't 18. It was like that 16 to 18, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we like, man, it was popping too. It was like they had that City Nights vibe to it, you know what I mean?
I was thinking when you said I said City Nights.
Yeah, we had the City Nights and they had a couple of little locals in there. One who I remember meeting her, we ended up dating afterwards. Like it was crazy, bro.
So she actually stuck around when you got there.
No, actually, I remember her from when she was there, like she ended up going to Cal. I wanted to go so we actually swapped. Like she was going to San Diego. She was from San Diego, went to the Bay, whereas I was from the Bay and went to San Diego. But when you catch people in the off season and the breaks and all that, and so man, that's all we kept thinking about was like, bro, like this is San Diego. This is popping. But we all have opportunities that you can go to college and be on your own, or we can all do this as fam. You know what I mean? Like we could all do that. Like all three of us, we could be roommates. We do this thing and set the standard. And it was the best decision that we made. Like I ended up taking trips other places. I wanted to go to the Pac, but what's my guy that went to? He went to Skyline, linebacker that went to Washington. I can't think of his name, but I had my dude.
That was not Mauli.
Yep, Lo. Say his name. Yeah, it's coming.
Davis? Not Mauli. He was the line.
Jafar. There it is, Jafar.
Oh, Jafar came from St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, right? So Jafar went there. So not only you had Jafar, then you also had Dominique Shaw. Remember D. Shaw? Yep. So I'm like, man. And then my dudes, so they was like, man, come to Washington. But I went up to Washington, it was raining. I'm down in San Diego. So when it came down to
T-shirt season, it's shirt off season.
So Arizona was there, New Mexico, But I said, nah, I'm gonna keep it cool. And I ended up went to San Diego, bro. And I mean, it changed my life, honestly, like for real.
Man, not only did it change your life, I read that you became this Hall of Famer. So now we talking Hall of Fame at San Diego State. We talking the class of Marshall Faulks. We talking who else would be in there? Kawhi Leonard will be in there.
Steven Strasburg,
Tony Gwynn. So definitely that worked out for a decision, a great decision you made, because you had a phenomenal career there to go Hall of Fame and pick that up at San Diego State. Did you guys, when you played against them teams, like, did y'all play Cal during them years? Did y'all play these Pac-10 teams?
Nah, we went bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that they went bigger.
I played at Michigan. I remember that.
I played at Michigan. I played at Ohio State twice. So kind of to sum up my college career, I get there, and when I got to San Diego State, I was about 215. 220 at the most, coming out of high school. And that's another thing was like when I was at when I was at O'Dowd, I was 198 pounds soaking wet. Wow. So I remember when I weighed in at a recruiting trip, I was 200, but I was with shoes on. So but when I got to San Diego State, I knew I was going to redshirt. So I redshirted that first year, and I hit the weights tough, man. And it was what I needed too, to get my mind right. But the two cats when I was redshirting that was ahead of me at linebacker were both seniors. So now we get to my redshirt freshman year. And I was a backup, but I'm balling. I'm doing everything in practice. And the senior who was ahead of me, I'm not senior, he was a sophomore ahead of me, who they started. He got hurt, tore his knee up against Air Force. So this is the fourth game of the season. They put me in freshman, redshirt freshman, fourth game. I played that game, and I never left. Like I started every game the rest of my career at San Diego State. So that year I was a freshman, and I was calling the huddle. And like if you go on YouTube, so this is when I knew I was on, because we played. So that was the year 9/11. So remember 9/11 happened. We were supposed to play at Ohio State. That game got canceled for that week, got postponed. So we was gonna play the game later in the season. So later in the season, we finally get there, Ohio State, big stage. And I was so young and just running around, just acting crazy. I went out there and I'm knocking cats out. I had 2 sacks on Craig Krenzel, who was the quarterback. And I'm popping my collar. I'm like, I was so down at the time. Like, I'm just acting a fool. But that's what put me on the map. I was a freshman All-American after that. And then the next 3 years, I was 3 straight years, all conference first team, back-to-back player of the year. And I was just the work ethic, man. I was balling. I had an opportunity to leave after my junior year, because my junior year actually was better than my senior year.
Yeah, I thought you were going to leave, because I remember that first year you was All-American, because it was on one of the magazines I used to get all the time.
The Athlon Sports.
And I think you was on the cover or something. And I was like, damn, like my dude is out there balling. Like I didn't know, because when you playing, you don't see the other games because you playing. So you don't really, it's hard to keep up with what everybody else is doing. But when I saw you on the cover of that magazine, I said, man, Kirk, whatever Kirk and Marviel and them is doing out there is working.
We was grinding, bro. We was pushing. Like Ken, we was just push each other. We was working. If we went to hang out the next day, we working out, like we getting it. And then I had a couple cats who, for me, always had to be older. Like I was always a leader because I had to carry myself like that. I was, 19 years old, standing in front of grown college dudes, you know what I'm saying? As the middle linebacker, like you got to call the play and you got to call it the right way. Like I'm the QB. So I had to grow up fast. And that's what helped me in my career, because I knew how to lead and I knew the defense and I knew how I can get guys lined up. So boom. And it just came natural to me. And people always say like, man, did you know you was going to go to the league, or how did you think about it? Would you think about the NFL? I said, man, I never even thought about the NFL. I just wanted to graduate from college. Like, honestly, I wanted to be the first in the family to graduate from college, because, growing up in Oakland, not everybody was talking about going to get a diploma. We was talking about just getting a scholarship. Yeah. And then once you got the scholarship, nobody cared about the diploma. It was like, you just want to go to college. So I got to college, I got the scholarship, and I wanted to graduate. But then I didn't realize until really after that junior year where it was like, man, you can actually go play. And a couple of cats that was drafted ahead of me and that I went to school with was like, hey man, I got a couple scouts been asking about you. Like, what? He was like, yeah, they was like, hey man, I heard y'all got a little linebacker down there, man. And when you hearing that from cats who are already in the league,
right,
I'm like, oh, I got a shot. So I wanted to leave because I wanted to go out in that draft class with DJ Williams and John Vilma and some of those backers, but I would have been leaving early from school. And I'm saying, man, I probably wouldn't have been in the first or second round. I was going to be in the later rounds. Let me try to bolster my thing, you know, so my draft status. So I came back and I know we was going to have a better team, and it didn't work out my senior year like I wanted it to. I had already graduated from school though. That's the crazy part. So I actually treated my senior year, my redshirt senior year, like I was an NFLer. So I was practicing and then just doing all NFL work, footwork, film, because I didn't have to go to school. And so I kind of like, you know, I was chilling, like not chilling, but like I was on the NFL mindset. And I think at times I lost my edge at times. I was still killing, you know, doing my thing, but I was so like, I'm not trying to get hurt.
Right.
Yeah, because I see it there. So I felt like I could have had a bigger senior year, especially in some bigger games, because we played at Michigan that year. And
had a good game at Michigan.
Yeah, I had a good game, but the homie next to me ended up having 18 tackles. He got drafted in the second round, and he came out early.
18 tackles against Michigan?
Against Michigan. White boy, Matt McCoy, one of my close homies.
Brown.
White dude.
But I know Heath, though.
Yeah, Heath. So, yeah, I think we all on there. And we was like a little brotherhood, our linebacking group. And we was pulling each other, man, just working hard. And you know, like I said, the dude, Matt, came out early and man, he balled out. But a lot of things that was happening in the Michigan game, the ball kept cutting back and he kept making a tackle over and over. And so we get to the combine and all that. And Andy Reid and Spagnuolo, the same two coaches from the Super Bowl, right? Spagnuolo's the D coordinator right now. Andy Reid is the head coach for the Chiefs, but they were both the same thing with the Eagles at the time. And they decided to go with McCoy instead of me. And Spagnuolo I see him to this day. He like, man, I don't know why I did that. I should have went with what I knew. You know what I'm saying? We thought we had something different. I should have went with you. But no, it's all good. You know, nothing but love.
Could a better story been written to play Odell, go to San Diego State, and then get drafted to your home team? Like, could a better story be written? And what was the energy like when you walked out in the Coliseum? Now being the kid from West Oakland, being from Oakland, and now you walking out that Coliseum. Like, remember how you said the different pride that come with Oakland? It gotta be a different pride when you you on a dirt, when you have linebacker at second base in the Coliseum and you look up in the black hole. Like, what was that like?
Man, a couple backstories till I get into it. Number one was that we all knew in the Bay in the 90s, you had to draw 80s and 90s. You had to make, you know, what was your allegiance? Yeah. Either you was Raiders or you was Niners.
Right.
Like, that's what it was. You can't be both.
Right.
So a lot of cats was like, I'm a Niner fan because the Raiders wasn't there. The Raiders was in LA. So I was like, man, I was a Raider fan though, because Fam was always Raiders. Like, Fam was still driving to LA to go to the games. So we was Raiders. I had a couple family members who was Niners, but we was Raiders. And then when the Raiders came back in 95, my pops, big Raider fan, he bought season tickets. And I used to go to all the Raider games. So always been a Raider fan. That was number one. But then I think the biggest thing, and I don't know, a lot of people know this story, but my mom in 96 went to the Olympics in Atlanta. And she was there, and then she flew back. And when she flew back from the Olympics in 96, she had like this craziest plane turbulence ever, to a point where moms would never get on a plane. She was so scared from that plane back from Atlanta to Oakland. She was like, I can't do this ever again. So that's 96. So you got to think, by the time I get to San Diego State, you know, moms, you got to come see me come play. You know what I mean? So my moms never would fly to my games. So throughout my college career, my mom would take a 10-hour Greyhound bus trip from the West Oakland West Grand
Greyhound Station.
And I think she used to do this because she used to try to make sure I didn't go out Thursday night to go get it in, by the way. Because I would have to pick her up Friday morning at 8 a.m. So it was 10 hours. So she leave 10 o'clock Oakland. I got to be down at San Diego Greyhound at 8 a.m. 10-hour bus ride. So she would stay till Sunday night, get on the bus, take her to the bus Sunday night at 10 o'clock. She'd be right there in Oakland, 8 a.m. So she did that my years in college, every year. So when I heard my name get drafted to the Raiders, we all together, I was more crying, not because I was going back to the home team. I was more crying because my mom went from having a 10-hour bus ride to a 10-minute trip from West Oakland to the Coliseum to go see me play. And that's a story that a lot of people don't know. Like, my mom would do that. Now, she made a couple trips on the flight because I made her. She had to take sleeping pills and stuff. So she made maybe 4 trips by plane. And that was because I wanted her to experience Ohio State. I wanted her to experience Michigan. I wanted her to experience like what real college football and pageantry is all about. Not saying that my school didn't, but this is people that have been playing football since the 1900s.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, man, I'm so thankful for doing this. Like, thank you. Because she appreciates football that much more. But to hear my name, to go from kid from Oakland, get drafted, everything was just like, I couldn't believe it. And I remember I was going out for our first preseason game, or maybe the first game that we had in the preseason at the Coliseum. And here I got Randy Moss, Charles Woodson, Warren Sapp, like all the OGs right next to me. I said, all right, little Oaktown, you about to go out there? You going, because they wasn't playing. I was a rookie, so I'm about to play in the preseason. They're not playing. And I remember like Norv Turner was the head coach. And I remember he slapped me on the butt right before and was like, all right, now, look, you could be everywhere, man. You about to play in front of your hometown, man. Like, and it didn't really hit me because I was in such a zone, and it hit me like I'm walking down the tunnel in Oakland, California, getting ready to go play. Man, I came out that tunnel, bro. I started crying like I was a little baby. Wow. I'm talking about tears. Like, because it was like, man, the moment never really hit me till I ran out on that field. I'm like, man, that's the same field I used to go watch the A's play, double headers, where I used to go watch the Raiders and sit in the third deck with Pops, like, you know what I mean? And now here I am about to play for him. And it was special. Man, but it was
a superhero to us.
Hey,
he was a superhero. Amazing, I was like, man,
it's kind of like the energy when Beast Mode had his first game playing for Oakland. Like that Oakland vibe is going to come out of you guys through playing in that environment, So definitely, I'm like that got to be an amazing feeling, man. Like you almost made me tear up with you talking about it. I just got so excited about it.
Nah, man.
No, to sidebar, and this is just me being transparent with you. There are times, even to this day, where I'm working out because we were the same year. Now, I was nowhere on anybody's draft board. I get all, but I'm just saying in my mind, if I could have been the quarterback while you were the middle linebacker, and that sometimes that brings me to tears. Like so I'm like, damn, like,
yeah, man.
Because I'm a Raider. Well, not anymore. I've divorced, but I used to be diehard like that too. And it's like, could we have done it?
Yeah.
And that, so, man, shout out to you for that, man. For real.
Definitely shout out, man. And so how long did you end up playing? I know you played with the Raiders, then you went elsewhere and played. Yeah. Oh, you Buffalo, right?
Yeah, so I got 5 years in Oakland, played a year in Jacksonville, reunited with Maurice Jones-Drew. So we was tight. And then I went to Buffalo for my last 2 years. Kind of like when I got to my last year 8, I kind of knew what it was. I was more like the OG already. I'm 8 years in now, so it's kind of more of a mentor for some of the cats, but I enjoyed it. And like that year, I knew I wanted to transition into what I wanted to always do. I wanted to be a broadcaster. So I actually started broadcasting my junior year in college. Mm-hmm. I was always behind the camera, like, because I was a captain of the team, like, hey, Kirk, can you go do this interview? Can you go do this? Can you do that? So after a while, I just started liking it. I started wondering, like, man, I want to get behind the cameras. Like, what you doing? Like, what is your job? What's your job? Like, And so I remember one time it was like, I was like, I want to be a broadcaster. I said, would you like to do a broadcast of the CIF championships here in San Diego? I was like, sure. And they put me on a broadcast. And so I started broadcasting like a color analyst. And from that day on, I knew that whenever I got done playing football, I was going to be a broadcaster. And so when I retired, I had a decision I had to make. Me and the wife, we were sitting there. She's like, do you want to play or you need to play? I was like, I don't need to play. I want to play. But she was like, all right, you got your health, you good. And there's some opportunities in broadcasting that had presented itself to where I didn't want to go chasing another league year. You know what I mean? Waiting around for the phone to ring and being depressed. And I just said, you know what, man, I got out the league what I wanted. I got in there, played, made a little money, made friends, connections, and I just started broadcasting. And so I went into San Diego State as their color analyst. I left there went to Fox. I started doing NFL games. But ultimately, I love college football too. So I ended up signing. I've been with ESPN the last 5 years, man, covering college football, and it's been something special, man. It has been like I take a lot of pride in doing that now. I work with the Rams on their radio broadcast every single week. So I've been doing that the last 5 years as well. So the last 5 years has really been good for me because I kind of found a home in terms of what I like doing. And I've been able to expand more, covering Super Bowls, Pro Bowls, like all of that too. So, that's kind of where I sit now. You know what I mean?
Did you major in communications or broadcast in college?
So that's what happened. Like I was so far in my major as a criminal justice major that, okay, I'm just going to finish up and get my degree. But I started to do like internships in the communication department because I wanted to know, like, what more do I need to know about this in terms of like radio, TV? How I want to get good at it. I want to be like, man, when they put me in front of a camera, like I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. Like I want to just be, I want to be perfect at it. The same way I was as a player. Like I want to work hard and be good at it. So I would watch interviews of certain players and I just fell in love with communications as, my time started to trickle down. And I just knew at one point I was going to love doing it for a living. And it'll be probably another great decision.
Now, you're really good at it too. And
yes,
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
The transition was pretty seamless for. I mean, back when I was in Louisiana watching, you would come to LSU games and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah, I forgot about that.
You're really good at this.
I remember man.
It's the natural, like when you're naturally good at something, man. Like you don't need the degree to do certain things, right?
Yeah,
honestly, certain things.
Most people don't do what their degree is anyway.
True, exactly. But it's more about reps, man. Like the more opportunities you get, and that's what I tell kids now, like, it's just reps, man. It's just doing it over and over again. It's like parallel parking, man. Sometimes like you may not get it on the first time, but you just keep doing it. It's like your favorite dish, that you cook. Yep. You just keep doing it over and over again. You perfect it, And sometimes you say, I can never perfect it, but you keep getting better and better. And that's where I'm at, man. I'm just trying to keep getting better and better.
Absolutely. So one of the things we have the big debate at the rec center we talk about, man. We gonna go back to the O'Dowd thing, right? Mm-hmm. We have a debate, couple of guys, man. I'm your route. I'm an advocate for my son getting the best education he can get, right?
Right.
Education, right?
I got you.
We have some that will say, public school, but then we have some that will say O'Dowd is not an Oakland school.
I am one of those.
Ken is one of them. Ken is one of the O'Dowd, not Oakland school. Ken supports Oakland. Oh, he'll support you. He'll support John Quinn.
I have friends that I root for that went to O'Dowd.
But he don't like O'Dowd. I don't root
for O'Dowd.
He don't root for O'Dowd, right? He does if he doesn't feel like it's Oakland. Did you guys always deal with that type of stigma when you were there? Like Oakland is not considered a Oakland school?
Yeah. I always had to deal with that. I mean, that's what I've always had to deal with that. Like, when, even still to this day, like a lot of cats like, oh yeah, Kirk from the town. Yeah, where'd you go? Well, you went to Tech, right? Oh, I went to O'Dowd. They're like, O'Dowd, like yeah, I went to O'Dowd. Like, recognized, man. So I always had that stigma on you, and you wanted to change that. But I think what helped me was that I wasn't a kid that went to O'Dowd that grew up in a different part of Oakland. Like I grew up in a part of Oakland and played youth sports with all the cats that we knew. So it was like when Kirk went up to O'Dowd, it was like he's still the homie. I still had hood cred, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I still had credibility that I played the same thing that y'all did. We had the same But we talked about it earlier in the Rex, man. We went to the same Rex. You know, we all went to the same spot. We all hung out at Bayfair Mall. So it wasn't like I was doing something and like I was some unknown up there. Like, oh, okay, Kirk at O'Dowd, but man, he still hang with us. He's still down here in the flats with us. So
definitely, and that's one of the things. You know, Ken, we had a whole segment on it. I wish we could have released it, but it was too distorted, man. Great conversation. You know, like I say, my son goes to St. Leo. He's looking his first choice. He want to go to high school is O'Dowd, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an education advocate first. He plays sports, but I want the education piece of it and stuff like that. But Ken definitely tells us, or even they say O'Dowd when they do play Oakland schools, like you guys play Fremont. You guys don't come off the hill and play these dudes. Y'all don't go into Fremont and Fruitvale and play them. It's always coming to the hill, man.
Right.
So we have great conversations. I'm glad you can shed some light on it, like what the time was with being up there. And you was part of the ones, like it's heavily Oakland kids there now. There's so many there now.
Yeah, now
as opposed to back in 2000 when I know you, Josh, John Quinn, all of you guys were there. But it's a lot now. So definitely thanks for shedding some light on that. One of these things we also do, man, we've been trying to figure this out. We do a start bench cut on here.
Okay.
And I've been trying to wrap my head around it, Ken. Who can we do in this start
this is
bench?
This is what I'm gonna do, because behind the scenes, Mike Smith thinks you robbed him for Player of the Year.
Oh,
he will say that.
Yeah.
He has told me that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, hindsight is 2020.
I know. And the thing about it, I didn't know, Ken. I didn't know
that he felt that way.
No. I had no idea that he felt that way and how hyped up everybody around. Like you ever walk into some and everybody, like,
you don't know.
It's a beef going on, and I have no idea it's a beef. So we get to the All-Star game, Contra Costa Alameda County All-Star game. I'm getting there. I'm just, whatever. So we get to like some hitting drills, and like everybody like getting hyped up. I'm like, okay, cool. And for some reason, they like kind of the way the lines met up, like people was moving and shifting so that me and Mike Smith would go up against each other. I'm like, all right. So Mike over there like foaming at the mouth. He like tears almost like ready to. I'm like, all right. So he ran, boom. He rocked me or whatever. He hit me, boom. And he got up like, yeah, I'm talking about. I know I'm in it. I'm like, bro, chill. So I didn't know that Mike was hot.
So now, this was back when, because Mike went to San Jose State. So, this is him talking 20 years ago. But he was definitely salty about it.
I didn't, man. And the thing is, me and Mike cool, but I had no idea. So I walked into that blind, had no idea, because I was the defensive player of the year in the HAL. And everybody said that Mike was better. You took it from Mike. I'm like, I mean, we went undefeated. What you want me to do? We went 10-0. Like, we tore the league up and we beat y'all. Like, and I had a pick and 2 touchdowns in that game. What you want me to do? I can't take that back. So
here we go.
I love Mike. Yeah.
Start one, bench one, cut one.
Okay.
Nick Vella. Mike Smith. We need another backer, Lo.
What was Gino playing at that time? Gino with the free
Gino. We go Gino.
Start one, bench one.
And for all those who don't know, Nick Vella is a monster.
Nick was a killer, man. O'Dowd, right?
O'Dowd.
Yeah, he was a killer. He
didn't grow up with us, so a lot of people might not know him.
No. If you played back in that time, you know who he is.
So
Nick Vella, Mike Smith, Gino Vital. Middle linebacker. So I'm gonna tell you this too. Another quick one with Corey Lynch. So Corey Lynch wanted to start next to me at linebacker, but he wanted to start next to me, but he couldn't beat out Nick. So Nick started next to me, 52 and number 4. So Nick started next to me, and that's why Corey Lynch ended up playing DN. Corey wanted to fight. He wanted to be a linebacker. So they was like, all right, we're gonna let you rotate. They put him in at linebacker. Corey was getting, it was like 1-2 series, and that boy just had no idea. It was like, nah, Corey, see, that's why you can't play. That's why he's gonna watch.
Hey, hold on, come on, man. Hey, Corey was a teammate of mine.
I know CL is my guy.
Hey, but Corey what Corey was, he was just a linebacker. He was as passionate for it. He was just a linebacker that was linebacker as the transition of offense was changing. So he would get outran by running back, right? Because we had another linebacker. He was small, Johnny Lawrence. I think Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Lawrence. Johnny Lawrence was
Johnny Lawrence was cold too.
Was San Leandro High?
Right? San Leandro.
So Johnny in our scrimmages, like Johnny would know to call out the slant about to happen, and he's staring at me, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, PM, not throw this slant my way," because he just called the play out, right? Johnny was smart, and Johnny made a lot of plays, man. Shout out to Johnny. I ain't seen that dude.
Shout out to Johnny, man.
Johnny's doing
Johnny
good.
was cold, man. Tell Johnny Johnny was cold too.
Yeah. But you're not gonna run away from this start bench cut.
No, start bench cut. All right. So if I had to start one, I'm gonna start. Man, this is a hard one. Start bench or cut. Start bench and cut. Right?
Start one, bench one, cut one.
Wow. I'm gonna start Nick Vella because he started next to me. So I know Nick was ride with me. Nick was a hammer, and I was like, okay, cool. I was the cleanup. You know what I mean? So I'm starting him. If I had to cut one, I might have to cut. No, if a bench one. Oh man. I think I will bench Mike.
And cut Gino?
No. You gotta let Kirk say it. You gotta let Kirk.
Yeah, I will bench Mike only because Mike was a hitter, but Mike didn't make Mike wasn't doing like the big spectacular plays, right? Mike just played linebacker. Like and we all know and when you're in high school, you gotta play both ways, bro. Like
Mike didn't play both ways?
Mike did play both ways, man. I think Mike even had like a linebacker number, I think. Like
55.
Yeah, like you can't play 50. You need that single digit, bro. Yeah, you can't do that. Not in high school, man. I got to bench Mike on that one. But I think I got to cut Gino because Gino wasn't good at linebacker. Gino played linebacker because he could and he wanted to, but
he was more of a safety.
He was like a safety. That's why I had to cut Gino.
We probably should have threw Johnny in there instead of Gino.
Man, Johnny was cold. Johnny was nice, man. Johnny was hard nosed. Yeah. Because I thought Johnny was a light-skinned dude for a while when he played in his uniform. Like in his uniform, like, okay, a little light-skinned partner. He take his helmet off, like, oh, okay. All right, partner. I'll see you, homie. Because he played like he had a swagger and he played like he was a brother. You know what I mean?
He was good.
He did.
But you know how it is. That's how it is, man.
Before we sign out, man, I want you to give us one thing about what was the culture of O'Dowd like football like was it family? I remember when we playing at Laney and Quinn was like excited. We was going to a bowl game and he was so juiced to still be playing football in December. He like, it ain't that. This is all we talk about is football in December. I'm like, yo, bro, like I don't give a shit about that right now. It's cold as hell out here. It's hella cold. We practicing. It's raining. What was the culture of O'Dowd football program like back then?
Well, like I said, our culture was we didn't lose. So we knew that we gonna play in December in high school. Like it was about playing in December. And then the last thing was we gonna practice on Thanksgiving. Like that was what the honor was. In the Bay, we practicing on Thanksgiving because we know we playing for the chance to go to a championship. So that's the way that we always talked about it. We went about it. That was the culture that our head coach had set for us. We all cared about each other. We played for each other. And as diverse as our teams was, right? Because, obviously we going to have a lot of different races on our squad. It wasn't like OAL. So, but we was all family, you know what I mean? And we all played for each other. And the culture was honestly, it was all set because you had dudes who knew their role and knew their job. And nobody was bigger than the team. Nobody was. It wasn't, nobody was upset. Like, nothing like we just all went out there and played and we won and it became a standard. And once that standard was set, it just kept being passed along. Like, so I learned the standard from the guys who played before me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't mess around. Like it was some white dudes who was like, Nah, brother, touch the line. Like, nah, you don't do that. No, this is what we do. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, we get on this bus, don't nobody say nothing. Helmet on, and we quiet. We don't talk to after the game till we win. Like, it was those types of things that the traditions was passed along. And I just stayed with it. We all stayed with it. And then as you pass it on to the next generation, and obviously it kind of get lost. But the one thing I can say too, because Coach Perry and I don't coach there no more. And this is kind of why I got a beef with Odell. Like, I love the school I went to, but they pushed my coach out because my coach, he didn't care about the politics. It was about, you know what, this is what it is. This is what football is. Ain't no crybabying, ain't no, crying for mama. Like, it ain't easy. It ain't tough. You can't go run to mama. You got to figure it out. And that culture was set about football is hard, man. Football is going to be difficult. It ain't going to be easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. Everybody be able to do it. So, he's at Mount Eden now, but I'll tell you this, he was a cat that when he preached football, he was like, obviously the same cliches. And I'll tell you, this was his pregame speech. I'll leave y'all with this one. Pregame speech was, I want everybody to grab the person next to you. So you grab the person next to you, right? You grab one. He said, I'm going to ask you to just play every single play like it's your last play. I want you to look to the side, look at everybody and say, I don't want you to say, I won't let you down. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it. And the last thing is, I said, man, we came here to do one thing, and I'm going to do one thing only. What did we come here to do? We came here to win. Then let's go do it. That's what we came to do. And then my last one, though, this is my JV coach. Last one.
I might got to steal that one, but
we came here to do got my hair standing up.
But the coldest one we did have, and this is why we had to stop, because we was too swagged out. My sophomore year, this is my JV year. And we had one coach who would always, he wasn't coaching her no more, but he put it in our mindset to make sure you let everybody know where you're from, right? So for pregame,
Coach O'Neal,
Coach O'Neal, Coach O'Neal.
Right.
So
Coach
O'Neal,
yeah, from Fremont.
Coach O'Neal,
Deshaunte Daddy.
Yeah,
he coached you your freshman year,
freshman and sophomore year.
I didn't know he went to Odell.
Man, he used to.
I know everything.
He the first. He used to say.
I didn't know that.
And he was the one that made sure that when we go out there and play, you let them know where you from and what's going on.
What time is it, Coach?
What time is it? Game time? What time?
Yeah. Okay.
But he said, what time is it? Because we from 9500 Stearns Avenue, and ain't no
punks at Odell.
Punks at Odell.
Hey, I played for Coach O'Neal my first
you
year
already
at
know.
Fremont, and we just get off the bus wherever we went. I remember playing a school called Acalanes.
Yeah, Akalani's over there. Yeah, over there, Renda.
Talking about Risto Hub walking through there with what time is it, Coach? Yeah. And Coach is going in. He didn't need a pregame speech. That got us ready.
Like I said, bro.
Coach O'Neal, man, I love. Coach
shout
O'Neal,
out, man. So Coach O'Neal gave us that mindset, and we just kind of took it, man. We from 9500 Stearns Avenue, Oakland, California, and it ain't no motherfucking punks at Bishop Odell. There it is.
Ooh, let's go, Coach. Hey, on that note, man, I do got to run. Kirk Morrison,
let's go, man.
Appreciate you coming in, taking the time out and speaking with us at the Rec Center podcast, man. I appreciate it.
Man, like I said, appreciate, man. Lo, you was a legend, man. The Tech Bulldog, man. I know what you had going on, and you, Ken, man. People don't forget you used to go to Head Royce. I let that go.
Come on, man.
I let that go. Yeah, as much as you getting on me, Ken. I remember you went to Head Royce too, brother. Don't see. You thought I was gonna let that slip,
man. Come on, man. You can't let out all the secrets, man.
That's why I let it go at the end when we leave. And I let y'all talk about when Ken went to Head Royce. But all high legend, man. But man, again. Man, I appreciate everything y'all doing. I couldn't wait to be on the cast, man. I'm glad y'all called me because I'm like, man, I want to get on. I didn't want to sound thirsty, like, hey, man, hey, can y'all put me on? But man, I'm glad y'all called, man, and I definitely can't wait to put this on my Instagram at Kirk Morrison, on my Twitter at Kirk Morrison, and get a bunch of, because it's way more legends that need to be talked, that need to be talked about, that need this notoriety, that cats forget what what Oakland, man, what Oakland really meant. And it's just the sports scene, right? Even basketball, baseball, and I've always been a big fan. I'm glad that y'all bringing it back out for us.
2 seconds, and then we do got to go. 2 names you want to see on the Rec Center that you personally want to see.
2 names personally. I want to see LaCorey Collins.
We did LaCorey.
Y'all did LaCorey already. Okay, you already did
it to you.
Or send me that one because I got to go through all of them. Y'all got Dame on there too, right? Bouchelion.
Dame passed away, bro.
He passed away, bro. Oh my God, that's right. He sure did. I'm thinking of Anthony and Dame. I kept the Anthony Lindbergh and Dame, both of them. I forgot Dame passed away, man. Because you think it's just the names that pop into your head. I'm like, man, I forgot when I remember I heard he passed. Damn, I want to see him. Y'all got KP on there too already?
We're working on it.
We're working on KP.
Get KP, please. Get KP on there, man. So
KP,
I want
Ray Young, Kirk Morrison is saying you need to on the Rec Center podcast, man.
Yes, that's right, man. We need KP on there for sure because KP, I used to remember watching him and his bro. Man, God rest on his bro too, man. Like I said, we got so many cats that was balling, and we need them to tell their story, man, because we never know, we don't know when they gonna be gone. Because those legends to me, just to hear them and talk to them, it's some cats I never even knew, but just will watch them. I was a fan. Yeah. So last person I think y'all gotta go grab too. Y'all got Frank Knight on there yet? Yeah. Y'all need to get Frank Nitty. So we need Frank Nitty and PG40, man. Come on.
We did all of them.
We did them. We got to send them to you, sir.
Now that football season is over, I can sit back and watch these, man. Because honestly, when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, I got to get on. And so now I got some time on my hands. I'm gonna sit back and watch all the episodes. I only got a chance to see like 2 episodes.
It's all good. We definitely trying to get KP and we trying to get Ray Young.
Yeah, we trying KP, Ray Young,
and we got Red. We gonna get Red on
and get Red too. And get Red. Yeah, get Red, man.
Cool. Right, show. Well, man, we appreciate you.
I gotta run, man.
Thanks for good, man. Appreciate y'all, bro. Y'all Kirk, be good,
be looking for my email for my letter of recommendation for my son in a couple years, man.
Oh man, you already got it, man. That's 100. That's easy. Trust me, I done had to do a couple of them, so you ain't the first.
It's all good. Appreciate you, man.
All good, family. I'll see y'all, man.
All right.
Later.
Man, was
Ken,
nice, man.
That was an enlightening episode, Ken. I'm a little bit over time, man, but that's an enlightening episode to let Kirk get his story out, man. And it's crazy, man, Ken. You don't know the impact that we be having with these athletes that want to tell their story, right? I'm excited, dude.
I've been feeling like I don't want to bug people.
Yeah, but
then to come to find out, they've been waiting on our call.
When you want to tell your story, I'm here to listen to it, man, because everybody got a story to tell, man. So shout out to Kirk for that, man.
Yeah, no, that was good, man. Well, thank you guys, man. I'm telling you, season 3 about to be loaded. Like, man, we about to have so many top names, and we thank y'all for building the buzz for us that these guys want to come on. Definitely follow us on Instagram at the Rec Center Podcast. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, the Rec Center. I'm Kenny Edwards for Lorenzo Parham. We out.